We've got Philip, the ref Pilkington, alongside Dom Szoke, who's back in the Radio Ranch studios producing today's show. And we've got a big episode of Inside Pirate Athletics tonight. Not only will the basketball coach Mike Schwartz be here, but John Gilbert's going to be here.
It's big.
That is, so if you're thinking about coming out tonight, I would, because I'm sure there's big news anytime John Gilbert pops by the show.
Hey, fingers crossed. I know they did a good job Saturday with Sunday, with the bowl celebration.
Sure.
Maybe we're getting something like we did last year. I want you to get to go to that. You got sick last year.
Right.
And they did the bowl celebration where you could meet the players and stuff. Maybe that's the announcement. I don't know. I really have no idea. I'm brainstorming here.
We had they did it in break. I know there was some people grumbling, saying maybe they should have done it at halftime, and the players would have stuck around and maybe gotten into the game, and who knows, maybe because it ended up being a fantastic game yesterday. It's a really good first half, and just a good game overall. It's a shame East Carolina came up on the short end. That is not a great UAB team.
No.
I think that is a UAB team, quite frankly, that will probably be in the bottom half of the conference seeding for the tournament. I don't see them finishing in the top portion of the 10 that make it. I don't.
No, I don't either. It was one you needed at home.
Yeah, and it's a big win for UAB. Oddly, both of their conference wins have come on the road, which, those things matter as you move along during the course of the season. Let's see. We have a couple of other news and notes to lay out before you during the course of everything here. We got a top 5 coming up. Jim Szoke visited with Philip Pilkington earlier, so we'll have that for the folks coming up in a little bit. Did we lose our signal again?
I don't know. Sometimes it just goes
crazy?
Yeah.
All right.
I'm hearing you guys, but the faces are not there.
Back? No, now we're back.
Okay, there we're back.
Yeah, we're having some snafus technically here. I don't know what it is, but when this thing hits 5 o'clock, everything goes, all hell breaks loose. All right, let's go ahead and do the top 5. Why don't we jump in on that right now?
This may very well be our last mission. Let's make it count.
This is the Patrick Johnson Show on 94.3 The Game.
It's impossible.
Now some stories you may have heard.
You ready?
Or catch it for the first time. This is your 5 at 5 with the P-Man.
All right, so we'll start with number 1. Let's hear that beautiful intro.
Number 1.
All right.
All righty, number 1. It was, as we mentioned, tough day on the court for the Pirates yesterday. They fell to UAB after the game. Coach Schwartz talked about what went wrong in the overtime period.
Offensive rebounds, and we knew going into the game that they're an elite offensive rebounding team, and the game came down to it. We got a big stop. We talked about getting a stop and a rebound.
Well, UAB put an emphasis on rebounding yesterday. We talked to Andy Kennedy before the game for television, and that is what he discussed that they needed to do. Odd, because statistically they were second in the conference in rebounds coming in. But this is not the Lindenborg operation of last year by any stretch of the imagination. This is a small team, small guards, and undersized post. And you know what's interesting? Those seem to be the teams that give East Carolina the most problems. And they were pesky, especially on the rebounds. How many times did they knock a rebound out of the hands of an ECU post? Yet, you had 3 guys get a double-double for East Carolina. Insane. Really crazy. And so, the positives I take from it are, I thought Dimitri Gardner looked good. I think he needs to play more minutes because he is big at 6'4". I think he can guard adequately, and he is a pretty efficient shooter as far as not a volume guy, but a guy that isn't going to take crazy wild shots. In overtime, Mike Schwartz didn't say it there, but I think the Mbang and Tybo Bailey threes were ill-timed.
Yeah.
You can take them, and you maybe take one of them, but you can't have back-to-back possessions where you're just jacking up a three off the bounce with no touching of the ball by Gio or no touching of the ball by
Jordan Riley. Yeah. Oh, guys, I was at home. I was watching a little bit of this. I'll let you, Patrick, and Dom allude to this. Cocker was playing a little more off the ball.
Yeah, but right now
that was a good thing.
It is, but right now he's the backup point guard. Imbang, for better or for worse, is the starting
and I
guard.
That.
I think it's fine.
Yeah, was much better. And what I could see from the house, Dom, you were producing it, so you're paying close attention. I just feel like the offense it runs a little more flow with Isaiah running the one.
Yeah, him and Jordan Riley on the floor at the same time does look better, but I think the offense you have to have more than one guard playing well, and it doesn't feel like Jordan Riley obviously playing well almost every game, but you have to have more consistency from the rest of the guards on the team, and it just hasn't been the case this year.
And that's why I think Garner's the guy you play.
Yeah.
And give him. I mean, he's played before. He's been through the wars. He's gone and played at places. It's not like he's a greenhorn by any stretch of the imagination. He is a veteran guy, and you've brought him in for that purpose. So I say give him some run. Now, it was very encouraging to see Reed Kaysen play very well yesterday. I don't know if he can replicate that, but if you can get here Delorier to be contributors, that's a positive thing because they're both more athletic, give you a more athletic presence than maybe Davis does at the 4. I'll also say that Dom mentioned the guards. Those three, Bailey, Imbang, and Cocker, combined going into yesterday's game. They were coming off of 1 of 15 shooting against Temple, but they were combined for the season, Pilk, 29% from the floor. Not from three, from the floor.
And
it's not good.
You can't have that.
It's even worse from three, actually. Me and Darren were both talking about it before the game, and Jordan Riley.
24% from three.
And Jordan Riley is not a prolific three-point shooter. He's the second best percentage-wise on the team at 33.3 before yesterday's game. The only one higher is Vito Perkovic, and he doesn't. He had a lot of volume early in the season, and now he's not playing. So Jordan Riley statistically is our best three-point shooter, and that's his worst attribute.
Yep, it is not a positive thing there by any stretch of the imagination. So they played their hearts out. It's a tough one to lose. How do they bounce back Wednesday? We'll find out when we talk to Coach Schwartz on Inside Pirate Athletics. So we're looking forward to that. All right, next.
Number two.
Number 2. Was this the greatest wild card weekend ever, boys?
It's not over.
So far, though, it's been pretty darn good. Except for one.
Last night was terrible.
Yeah. And except for one Eagles fan who got to get his Christmas present was playoff Eagles tickets.
Good for him.
But here's what he had to say about the offense coordinator, A.J. Brown.
Yes, this was a huge letdown. This was my Christmas present, and I got a loss.
Oh, no. You probably would have rather had Cole, huh?
Good.
Yeah, probably. I'm feeling two of two things. A, I want A.J. Brown packing his bags, and I want him somewhere else that is not here. I love you, A.J., but, you can't make drops in that game. And I also want Kevin Patullo flipping burgers at, the local McDonald's or something. I don't care.
Why do you say that?
Whenever he's an offensive coordinator, it's like he's flipping burgers. One side, he's cooking. One half he's cooking, and the other half is completely raw.
I love it. One half's cooking, one half's completely
raw. Yeah.
Wow.
That there's not disputing there's talent on that roster.
There's a lot of talent on that roster, just not in the play caller's brain.
So I think there's going to be a play call situation where what is that, by the way? When did you get that?
They're giving us all one. I just got the first one.
Well, be like my Christmas gift. I'll get it in March.
Yeah,
probably.
You will get your Christmas gift tomorrow.
Yeah,
forgot.
So anyway, the the counter argument is, well, if you ever came to Greenville, but I am in Greenville all the time.
You just don't come to the station.
Yeah, I don't. I can't. There's no answer to that. I don't. No. So, yeah, they've got to make a change, don't they?
I'd say so.
Do you? And then Matt LaFleur is going to be back a bit. They're going to restructure a deal or give him an extension. I don't know how I feel about that in Green Bay. I don't care because I'm not a Green Bay fan, and I'm fine with them losing. But on the surface, I don't know how I feel about that.
Yeah, some people are calling for him to be fired. I don't think that should happen. Look, they left 7 points off the foot of their kicker. Also, that roster was banged up. The only reason they even had a lead is because the Bears, Caleb Williams looked like he was trying to throw the game. And then on top of that, look, they're banged up. They got injured at the end of the season, didn't have time to figure out which one of their twos is going to come in. They're not a great roster, but I don't think he should be getting canned. Dom, you watch probably the Packers closer because they're a rival of yours. What are your thoughts on this?
Yeah, I mean, it was a great hater weekend for me watching the Packers and the Eagles both lose, so that was great. But yeah, I think the roster was depleted. I think Micah Parsons makes a huge difference. A top 2 defender in the league. You add him to the team, even with all their other injuries. I think they do go out and beat the Bears with such a close type of game, divisional game. That type of player does change it. So I there's not much else to say, but the Packers just didn't have it.
I'm trying to flag Pilkett.
Oh,
yeah.
Excuse me.
Yeah, mute the mic and
I'll mute your mic and you can ask her what. I didn't know what it is you're ordering.
I thought you were telling me to shut up, so I just wrapped it up.
He wants the jalapeno. No. Sorry.
Mute your mic, Yehu.
Okay. Well,
God, when you yell at her.
your mic so you could order because you
tell her because I'm
heard me.
Okay. Oh, okay.
Yeah, we're good.
Oh, okay.
We good. Yeah.
All right.
Yeah.
I'm actually
what's it to you, David Horn, if I did or not? This has come off the rails tremendously. Last night was terrible. You obviously saw a fantastic game.
It's an awesome game, yeah.
The game after that is an epic comeback for the ages in Chicago. I mean, really a great. And as you said, if you went to bed like I think a lot of people did at halftime or at the start of the fourth quarter, you missed probably one of the most exciting fourth quarters. That and the Miami fourth quarter with
Jacksonville fourth quarter Buffalo.
No. The Miami
Hurricanes
fourth quarter.
Oh,
Hurricanes,
yeah.
Those two might have been two of the best fourth quarters.
Well, the Panthers fourth quarter, 4 lead changes. And the Bills fourth quarter had 4 lead changes.
Now, I didn't see that game at all yesterday. I understand, obviously, Josh Allen was excellent. Do you buy the Bills being favored in Denver?
You're falling on you.
They got banged up yesterday as well. David Horn's trying to knock the set
what
down.
Was that,
on top
Dom?
of
Sorry, we were trying to save the set.
I said you guys were getting fallen on. I was trying to save you guys.
Yeah.
Yeah. Thank you, Dom. No, I think the thing, they're so banged up. Buffalo is.
Yeah.
Out of yesterday, they're banged up. So I don't know how you favor them.
And the other thing is nobody's been sacked more this year than Josh Allen. What does Denver do? Well,
they get the quarterback. They get home.
Yeah.
So they get home. They got guys that can get home.
Yeah.
I think the Niners, that's a great deal, but I think yesterday was probably a little more about Philadelphia than San Francisco necessarily.
Yeah. And no Kittle now.
Yeah. So I thought
Seattle.
and he got an Achilles injury in case you have not heard that today, folks. So I just think that's really unfortunate for him.
Gabe Davis tore his ACL.
Oh, did he?
The Bills issues.
Oh, okay.
He tore his late in that game.
So you got those two things, and then we won't know what time the Bears and Rams are until after tonight.
Yeah.
Who do you like tonight and why? Philip the Ref Pilkington.
I like Houston because I think they've been the most complete team the last 2 months. They're not sexy.
Everybody was saying the same thing about Jacksonville, though.
That's true. But I think I was saying that about Jacksonville, but I also said Josh Allen, he knows that Mahomes isn't here and that Lamar's not here and that Burrow's not. He's going to find a way to win one.
You know who else knows that?
No.
Aaron Rodgers.
I don't think Jacksonville's defense isn't the same level.
Aaron Rodgers. Aaron Rodgers also knows that, hey, if I win this, I don't have to deal with this, and that's
He's
what I'm
going to deal
saying.
with Matthew Stafford at some point.
Aaron Rodgers?
Oh, no, Rodgers, you're right. I'm still thinking he's on the.
Yes.
Yeah,
You're thinking it was with, yeah.
Yeah.
But I'm just saying.
Yeah.
Now, obviously, nowhere near the level of Josh Allen at this point in his career, but he's
true.
He's won a few games this time of year.
That's a good point. Yeah, he has. Until he gets to the championship round, he's been pretty.
But he knows how to win in January.
Yeah, Dom, were you saying that you're saying that Houston's defense is better than Jacksonville's?
100%. I think Houston's defense is one of the best in the league, top 2. You're talking about teams getting home.
Yeah, right. No, I understand that. But how about offensively? They weren't quite as dynamic as the Jags have been.
They weren't, but they. I think
the Jags defense too had been really good against the run up until, obviously Josh Allen.
Yeah, they stopped their running back pretty well. But I was saying that Houston's defense their offense has been clicking ever since Davis Mills came in and C.J. Stroud came back into the role after his injury. He's been a better quarterback than he was in the first half.
Yeah. And hey, who's letting up the least amount of yards per game?
Dom, who do you like tonight and why?
Houston, the Texans.
You're going to take Houston?
Texans easily.
I'm going to take Pittsburgh. I'm going to take Pittsburgh.
All right.
Why not? For Mr. PK more than anything.
There you go.
All right. Dom, give us the next one with the countdown.
Number 4.
No, 3, Dom.
Number 3.
You know why he said number 4? Because he doesn't want us to do number 3.
Okay.
Oh, gosh, I don't know what number 3 is.
Gloat, PJ. You break into the Cubbies.
Oh,
Letting him have his
no.
time, Dom. I'm sorry. Yeah.
So
you skipped it.
I'm looking at this and I'm thinking that's all of a sudden quite a lineup in Chicago.
Mm-hmm.
And apparently they're not done. And
refresh.
I'm just real interested to see because everybody, he says refresh.
Well, while they're refreshing, my thoughts on the Red Sox letting Bregman go, I think it's a ridiculous ownership problem. You trade Rafael Devers for a bag of chips, get rid of his contract so that Bregman can come in and play third base. Bregman comes in, plays well for the first half, messes up his hamstring. He's out for, a month and a half, 2 months, same injury that he's had before, and he doesn't play the same after that, and we let him go. So you lose both your third basemen, you don't get anything back out of the trade, and it's just an awful ownership mismanagement that continues to happen over the last 10 years. They're back.
John doesn't want to spend money. I mean, John hasn't wanted
Dom's
to spend
been lamenting about the Sox.
Sox side of this thing, so I'll let you
I don't care about the
with
Sox side of this thing. I don't.
I know.
I'm just filling time.
I understand. What I was thinking here is reportedly, Chicago is not done.
Yeah.
Apparently, Chicago has some assets they feel like they can trade to acquire some other assets. And so this has nothing to do. The sense I get from the Chicago perspective is this has nothing to do with a reaction to the Dodgers. This has everything to do with trying to overtake Milwaukee.
I mean, at the end of the day, get your home field advantage, win the division, and let the playoffs
fall how they may. All right, my food is here. So I want to get hurriedly to number 4 and number 5 because we also have Jim Szoke.
We do have Jim Szoke. So
4.
All righty, number 4, Brooksy's back to the PGA Tour. He is going to start at the drawing blank on the event, but the one they play at Torrey Pines in a couple weeks.
Torrey Pines, that's all you got to say.
Yeah, the Torrey Pines event, and he's going to play the Waste Management. So he's back as part of the comeback program of the PGA. Rumor is that Bryson DeChambeau, John Rahm, and Cam Smith could follow. Not rumor they are following. Rumor they could follow.
Now, as I heard it today when I heard this driving in, that this comeback program is just for those 4?
That's kind of how I read the article. The ESPN's website was being whacked, and then Dom and I were going over some stuff. But, yeah, it's like they're allowing only the certain players from Live based off like their Live.
So for Harold Varner III, that's not. Doesn't seem like that's a possibility.
Yeah, doesn't sound like it.
And there's financial penalty?
From Live?
No, from
the PGA.
From the PGA for these 4 to return. Do we know anything about that?
I didn't see anything on that, but here's the thing. With what they made off Live, who cares about the financial penalty at this point?
Well, I understand that, but you're taking guys' money.
Yeah. Well, there's probably not giving them money. It's probably what it is. Probably
and I think that's fine. I mean, withhold earnings for a certain
withhold earnings. I can get behind that.
I could get behind that as well.
I mean, there are consequences to your actions. You went, you got paid, and now we're going to hold on to some of that moolah. And also it's a, kind of a up yours to the golfers who did it, because they then got sued and now have to pay out bigger purses because of the whole Live thing. That's part of the reason we have the bigger purses now and have the featured events or whatever they're called.
This is a net positive, though, for the PGA.
Oh, yeah. Golf is not the same without the big names playing.
This will help the PGA immensely.
I'll be honest with you, I totally forgot to watch this weekend. I don't even know when the tournament. It's the first tournament of the year, the tournament champions, I forgot to.
All right, last one.
5.
All righty, number 5. The playoffs have been abolished by NASCAR. They are going back to the 10-race chase for the Cup. 16 drivers will get in. It's not a win-and-you're-in situation anymore. It's just the top 10 in points throughout the entirety of the season will make the playoffs or make the 10-race chase. Now, there are incentives for finishing higher in the points, so there is a tier system. I won't bore everybody with it. You can Google it or Twitter it, X it. But the guy who wins the regular season, has the most points, starts the chase with more, and then it drops off by X amount of points. And they have also now changed it to where you get more points, though, for winning a race.
Sure. To
keep the winning incentive. Because as bad as that whole elimination playoff format was, the 5 playoff points for winning a race, I like how it incentivized winning, specifically finishing.
Will this help interest? Yes, will this help viewership?
So. Yeah, they had Mark Martin and Dale Jr. talking about it, and they were talking about how so many people said they had turned it off.
You know what would be a thing that would really pique interest if Mark Martin and or Dale Jr. were still driving?
I've heard a rumor Mark Martin might drive in the All-Star race.
Okay. But you know what I'm saying? The sport needs stars.
It does need stars.
Not controversial stars, stars.
And then right now, Chase Elliott is only a star to people who already watch NASCAR. He does not transcend
like Little Lee, doesn't transcend like Dale Earnhardt, God rest his soul.
Yeah.
Doesn't even transcend like Jeff Gordon.
Yeah, exactly.
So you need somebody that can transcend and go beyond the sport.
Yeah.
If this creates some viewers, though, and this grows and brings people back, I think it's a positive thing.
Yeah.
We need to get Gluck on. Can we?
We do. I was thinking about that we need to get Gluck on soon. He will be traveling. He's in Concord right now. He's obviously going to get back to Colorado, but I'd like to get him on later this week or next week. So, I'll text him. I wanted to bring up something to you, and now I remember what it was.
Will you work on that?
Yes, I will. I'll text him.
And we have another guy I told you to get to before the Super Bowl.
Oh, yeah. I'll get to that guy.
All right. That's it. That's the list. That's your top 5. Sorry for the technical snafus. When we come back, Philip, the ref Pilkington, will talk with Jim Szoke. And then Dom will wrap the show up for us.
There you go, Dom. This is your
So, Dom, you can talk all the Red Sox you want at that point. All right. Thank you, Dom. We'll be back with the great Jim Szoke right after these words.
The best burgers around. Everyone loves a thick, juicy, and fresh burger. Tiebreakers in Greenville, plus the all-new Tiebreakers in Winterville. Do real burgers better than anybody. So don't just go to any burger-themed restaurant chain. It's time to break the chain and eat local. Tiebreakers, real burgers at its best.
Everybody loves burgers.
Big tax credits are back. Get a 30% tax credit, up to $2,000 off your new Mitsubishi electric heat pump install. Let Comfort Master help you take advantage of the tax credits with a qualifying Mitsubishi electric ducted heat pump or non-ducted Mitsubishi electric mini splits. Mitsubishi electric mini splits are ideal for bonus rooms, garages, or sunrooms. If you need a new HVAC unit, call Comfort Master today.
Call Comfort Master. Call Comfort Master.
You know what the problem is with standard belts? Usually you have to choose between too tight or the opposite, too loose. But with Anson Belt and Buckle, you don't have to choose. We got rid of the holes and instead have a track system designed for micro adjustability. That way you can enjoy a perfect fit every time. Anson Belt and Buckle. Find your perfect fit today.
Healthwise Pharmacy rounds the bases with all of your infusion, retail, compounding, and medical equipment needs. Locally owned and operated by pharmacist Marcy Parker, Healthwise has grown to be your most trusted provider for infusion services. Currently providing in-home or on-site infusions in North Carolina, South Carolina, and Virginia. Visit Healthwise Pharmacy at 615B South Memorial Drive or call 252-295-0059 to speak to a patient service representative to find the option that best suits your needs.
In this age of globalization, we've learned that bigger isn't always better. Ever tried to get phone help from a big corporation from a real person? Right. That's what's so nice about Phelps Chevrolet. After more than 50 years serving our community, Phelps remains family-owned and operated. Mike, Daryl, Wave, West, Alan, and Clay deliver hometown service and integrity, same as always. They share your experience, they share your values, and they are ready to help with any motoring need. Come get you one.
At Parker's Barbecue, our family has been serving your family for 3 generations.
For that, we say thank you.
Blessing families every Thursday. Kids eat free all day. That's the Parker's way.
Legendary food served from our 3 locations. Always quick, always delicious. That's the Parker's way.
At Parker's, our mission is to impact our customers through Christ-like service in a way that feeds them both physically and spiritually. That is the Parker's way.
Beep, beep. Move over, Buttercup. We're back to the show.
We're back! And I love them!
This is the Patrick Johnson Show on 94.3 The Game.
Patrick Johnson Show on this Monday edition of the show. We are now joined by the voice of the East Carolina Pirates and a member of the Panthers radio network, Jim Szoke. Jim, at 7:20 this morning, you said that you were still a little tired from a very exhausting football game on Saturday afternoon. Have you gotten some coffee in you? You feeling any better here this afternoon?
No, because obviously you were in Charlotte listening. But we did the recording of a Panther Talk, last one with Coach Dave Canales. I know you guys will have that on later on today. So it's just been, kind of a sprint to the finish here. But that last Panther Talk show is kind of the last bit of on-air as far as live goes for us this year. And I'm sure you saw the game. I don't know if you were at the game. I'm sure you'll tell me in a second here. But it was a great game. It was exciting. Went down to the last minute. But it was kind of draining. I felt kind of that all day yesterday watching the other 3 games, like, meh, just kind of watching the other 3 games after watching that Panther game. But don't feel like it's disappointing, but not like, bummed out totally because of just how well the Panthers played against a team where they were a 10.5-point underdog.
No, I agree with you. And it was exhausting. I got home and I was tired. It was all I could do to actually stay up for the 8 o'clock game. And, I'm pretty much a night owl, but it was exhausting. However, I will say this, Jim. I came on these airways, and I know that you can't do this as publicly as I can because you work for the team, but I called out the Panthers fans. Well, I shouldn't say I called out. It was previous. I challenged the Panthers fans to show some energy, to act like a real NFL fan base, which sometimes I think we fail to do. And 30 minutes before kickoff, 95% of the seats were full, and I sat for 12 minutes of that game, and all 12 of those minutes were at halftime. I thought the crowd was phenomenal.
It was, and I know you go back to like the Super Bowl 50 season. I've seen the games for 30 years now, and that again was about as loud. I can't say it wasn't the loudest or whatever. It was up there with the loudest of crowds that I can recall, and I thought it was done well. Obviously, it's a playoff game, first of all, and they hadn't had one at home in 10 years. But the way they brought Cam out for the pregame keep pounding drum, and then before the fourth quarter, they bring out Jake Delhomme with Steve Smith and Musim Muhammad and Wesley Walls, and they do their version of it. But I thought the crowd was great. It sounded like a true home game. There was the loud booing of the Rams every time one of their players would come on the field pregame, all that kind of stuff. Because to your point, I mean, there have been games in past years, not too long ago, where it felt like you were at an away game if you were just listening to the crowd noise. But that was a Panther crowd. It was raucous. They got there early. They stayed late. And they were a factor in the game, dealt with the wind, didn't have the rain we thought we were going to have. But all in all, I thought it was just a great atmosphere.
Yeah, that is one thing I do want to call Panther fans out for. Everybody who prayed for no rain. Now, Bryce played well. He went toe-to-toe with Stafford, but you're playing one of the best quarterbacks in the league. And there was all these people telling me, Jim, they were praying for no rain. I was praying for it to come in sideways, but, I guess, some people want to win and some people want to be dry, but, I take the wins. Call me a criminal, I guess. But anyways, we'll talk about the game as a whole now. Jim, this is a team that got down 14-0, and it kind of felt like it was over there for just a few seconds, and then they drive right down the field and score. And this is not the most talented team in the NFL by any means. They're not the most talented team that made the playoffs, probably the least talented team that made the playoffs, but they play with grit. They don't give up, and we saw that dating all the way back to, really the Arizona game back in week 2.
Yeah, it is. I think, they were lucky, fortunate to be in a division where 8 wins was good enough to win the division. The Rams won 12 games, and they finished 2 games back in their own division as a wild card. So, sometimes it falls that way. We talked about the 2014 Panthers and what that led to the next year, 2015. Panthers win 15-1 after that. So hopefully it's a springboard to more wins next year and being even more relevant than they were this year. But Matt Stafford is as good as they come. That touchdown pass he threw at the end was about as good of a play as you can make. It was well defended, and they still got the touchdown. So hats off to them. That's the Rams playing great football to win by 3 points in the last 38 seconds. And I thought for the Panthers, they are a team that's progressing, but not a finished product, whereas the Rams are obviously a lot more polished with their 37-year-old first-team All-Pro quarterback. And Devontae Adams led the league in touchdowns, and Puka Nacua led the league in receptions. I mean, they just had a lot to work with. And the Panthers are a team that's trying to, get up to where, they can be in that tier. They were at the relevant and competitive tier this year, and maybe next year they can take that next step, whatever that is beyond that. I think one of the bright spots, Pilk, was, I'm sure you'll agree, Jalen Coker. And we've been kind of saying, he's the guy more than Xavier Legette is the other answer to Teteroa McMillan. 9 catches, 134 yards, and a touchdown. Him and Teteroa McMillan, I think, is going to give a lot of fans a lot of juice and excitement about what the future could hold in the passing game.
Yeah, no, I agree with you, Jim. And, you've been saying for a while now he's a true number 2. I agree with you. I was speaking with a mutual friend of ours, Zach Kaplan, after the game. He's a Patriots fan, so he doesn't have the emotional tie that we do to the Carolina Panthers. And he 100% agreed with me that Jalen can be the number 2 of this team moving forward. And going back to also what you mentioned about that pass from Stafford, man, I was sitting in the back corner of the end zone, right where he threw it, and midway through the trajectory, and Morg was draped all over him, pinning him against the sidelines. There for one split second, I was like, wow, he threw the most perfect ball I've maybe ever seen in person, and I've been over 150 NFL games, and that was one of the best passes I've ever seen. And, you kind of mentioned it earlier in your opening statement, walking out of that stadium, was I disappointed? Sure, we didn't win, and you want to win, but absolutely nothing to be frustrated about. I can't remember seeing a throw that good, and I think it's time to start talking about Matthew Stafford is at least one of the greats of his generation. Out of the late 2000s, early 2010s quarterback, I think he's one of the best, if not the best, out of that generation, and definitely a Hall of Famer.
Yeah, I don't think he gets enough credit because he played on a lot of pretty mediocre Lions teams, and then the Rams make the trade and win a Super Bowl with him. And, if he can back that up by being the MVP this year and so forth, you talk about a Hall of Fame player. So he'll be in the Hall of Fame and probably put his name among the greats of this generation. Wording it, I feel like, and he's not far from aging out of it, but we've seen a lot of really good quarterbacks age out of the league over the past couple of years. And I think, Drake May's the best of the new ones, obviously. But, Matt Stafford, 37 years old, is still slinging it out there. And as long as you give him time, because he's not going to escape the pocket, as long as you give him time, he can just be deadly accurate. And him and Sean McVay have this unspoken wavelength of yin and yang of knowing how to run that offense in a quick way. Without a lot of communication is impressive to see. When you see it in person versus on TV, you really appreciate the route running and just the precision when they run that offense the way they did it. For the Panthers to beat that team once this year and almost beat them a second time is really a credit.
It is, and yeah, you're right. Seeing it in person, because I was not at the first game. I was up in Washington that day for the Commanders and the Broncos. I was watching on TV. You're right. It is special, and what I find amazing, I would look at the play clock, and I would look at McVay, how long he kept the play sheet at his mouth, and I would realize that he was still talking in Stafford's ear, and Stafford was already talking in the huddle. The play calls are so long. There were many times he didn't even get it fully in till after the play clock was below 20 seconds. And it wasn't like he was waiting to start. He was starting right at 38 or 39 on the play clock. The chemistry they have, you said it, Jim, is just phenomenal. But you also mentioned that he can't escape the pocket. But somebody can. What a run by Bryce Young. I wish he would have tried to escape the pocket on the pick he threw. I know that was a communication issue. I didn't think it was on Bryce. I didn't think it was on Jalen. I thought it was just a mutual Jalen set the route down in the middle of the zone, miscommunication. But gosh, our boy Bryce, he's got some wheels, doesn't he?
He does. That's kind of the difference we'd have in that example, a veteran, like say it's Devontae Adams and Matt Stafford. And they just have been in the league so long, whether it's together or not, they understand how a certain route's going to, finish out. And it's a choice, obviously, and Jalen Coker made a different choice than Bryce Stott. Nobody's at fault, to your point, like you said. But I like the fact that as the season wore on, Bryce was doing more of that running. He did it kind of last year the same way, where I feel like as the season wears on, he gets more active as far as leaving the pocket. He made a defender miss in the open field to get the touchdown, just a first down. So that's an element of his game that is very helpful, and we've laughed before. He's not a great slider, but at least knows when to get down to the ground when necessary there. But it does help when you've got everybody covered downfield and you got a quarterback that go scramble for 10, 15, and in that case 20 yards and make something happen with his feet.
Yeah, it is special, and I think he, like you said, he's becoming not only a good runner but a more mature runner as he's going on. We're visiting with Jim Szoke here, voice of the East Carolina Pirates and color commentator on the Panthers Radio Network. Jim, 31 years of Panther football. It has come to an end, but it's come to an end in a more special way, I think, than we thought going into the season. We got a couple more things for Jim, and then we'll get him out of here. Jim, I will say this. The block punt, when it first happened, I was like, oh, my goodness, yes. And then I realized what was going to happen, and that was we were going to score, and they were going to have too much time. And right as we scored, there was a Rams fan about 3 rows in front of me, and I walked down and I looked at him and I said, if I could have anybody in your spot right now, active quarterback, I'm taking Matthew Stafford. We just scored too early.
I was on a text chain because Kevin Monroe and Andrew Bays and David Horn were like, oh, go Panthers and all this. And when the blocked punt happened, Kevin thought that was it. This is going to be the game. And the Panthers got that blocked punt, and then they get the touchdown off of that. Because at that point, the Rams have to score a touchdown. So I think maybe the thing that's not talked about enough as far as people talk about the way the Panthers defended it after that was that J.C. Horn left the game. So your choices are to kind of umbrella it and do a zone and keep it in front of you and not put Caleb Evans out there by himself against either Devontae Adams or Puka Nacua, because if they did that, he gets burned for a 40 or 50-yard touchdown. Everyone's like, oh, why'd you do that? So it's kind of pick your poison. Maybe you can mix it up where they maybe at times could have sent one more defender at Stafford, hoping to throw him off. But there were times where the Rams are really good at picking up the blitz. We got burned on that during the course of the game at times. So it's a bit of a gamble. Just because you're going to blitz doesn't mean it's going to get there. And if you do fail there, man, you're really setting yourself up. So, yeah, you hate to give up all those soft underneath middle passes, but I just felt like they just weren't comfortable with the personnel they had at that point to play it any other way. And my only suggestion would have been maybe to just mix it up occasionally and just give them different looks on a couple different downs in that, 6 out of 7 completions, and one was a drop by Adams.
Yeah, it was. And, I guess my complaint was, in hindsight's 2020, is like play press man, let them burn you, and then give Bryce 3 minutes to score instead of 40 seconds to score. But obviously, I know you cannot think like that in hindsight being 2020. You brought up the good point of J.C. Horn being out. And, the other thing, too, man, Stafford's so good. So you were still down the hall this morning on WBT. I had just gotten in the car, and I can't remember if it was Mac or Bone that mentioned, like, they read off Stafford's stats this year against the Blitz, and it's like 20-some touchdowns and 3 interceptions. It's like, well, I mean, shoot, you blitz him, but that's just one less defender to go out there and guard all these all-pro receivers he has. I mean, I don't know.
You've got to get to him. I mean, it's just like you can blitz, but again, and I thought the Panthers got good pressure in both games. I think they created chaos, and obviously it paid off with some tipped passes in the win a couple of weeks ago. And in this case, I thought they still got some good hits on him in the pocket. Even if they're not getting the sacks, at least you're getting the pressures and making him miss a little bit. Obviously, he hit his hand on Wanham or whoever his defender. I'm trying to think which arm he had of one of the Panther guys. That seemed to affect him after that in the second quarter, slowed him down a little bit. But again, they're so good. I mean, they really are. And so it was just unfortunate. You're playing a high-scoring team. And again, the last touchdown pass was defended as well as you could. It was a 6'7" guy catching it over a 6'2" defender. And if not for that, Panthers maybe get out of there with the win. And then when the Panthers do get the ball back, Jimmy Horn drops that pass. It'd been nice to just see how the sequence might have played out if he caught that pass on fourth down, to see if we could have gotten at least a shot at a field goal down there, because Fitzgerald's got a good leg, so if they got him in range, I thought that might have been at least an interesting finish to see if they could have got that kick.
Yeah, I was hoping we would at least get that opportunity, but against Rams in playoff games, we all know too well about missed field goals. Both teams obviously missed one there in overtime back in 2004, as it was 22 years ago to the day that game happened in the Edward Jones Dome in the divisional round in St. Louis. But one more thing here, Jim. Look, if I got to give a game ball out in this game, I'm giving it to Puka Nacua. You mentioned Jalen Coker. He had a heck of a game, but so did Puka. And I firmly believe if Nick Scott intercepts the ball when the game is 24-20, the Panthers win the football game. And Puka Nacua looked like a lockdown corner. The way he ripped the ball out of there. Scott was strong as you can be with your hands when you're falling backwards on your rear end. And, I mean, what a play by Puka to keep that drive alive. And I really think that was the difference in the game.
Oh, yeah, and that was like almost a peanut punch, like you said. He went in for a receiver to understand not only what has to happen there, but to react to it that quickly from being an offensive to now a defensive player that quickly. Because this guy doesn't miss, right? He had 10 catches in this game and had the touchdown. There's very few that come his way that don't end up as a completion. He led the league, 129 catches coming into the game. So it's not often he has to turn around and turn into a defensive back there. But he did. Like you said, Nick Scott didn't do anything wrong. Nick Scott was just beginning to catch the ball, and Puka made a great play on it. So again, just the Rams are super talented. The Panthers obviously have some very talented players, but not many teams have as many as the Rams do. So I just tip your hat, give them credit, and looking forward to seeing what they do the rest of the way in the playoffs.
Yeah, I am too, and looking forward to see what we do in the offseason. We got a lot of free agents.
Yeah.
Number one guy we need to re-sign, J.J. Jansen. Got to keep our guy, J.J. Jansen.
That's a given. J.J. is all about, does he want to keep playing? So as long as J.J. wants to keep playing, he's got an open invite to come back. And I think, again, you could always moneyball it, but, I think guys like Cade Mays, I think Roseboom, we're so thin at linebacker.
Yeah.
I thought Roseboom did a solid job. I think Roseboom's better when he's got, if he had, in a perfect world, a Thomas Davis, John Beeson, somebody next to him, that would make him that much better. But I think he could be a part of the answer there. I think Cade Mays brings good size to that center position when he's out there. So, again, you can always find other guys, but those would be some, along with JJ, as you mentioned, being at the top of the list.
Yeah, well, we'll get you on later. I'll talk to you in 3 days on the Logan Zone for one last go for it there, and we'll get you on in the offseason, I guess, ahead of the draft, maybe, or ahead of free agency to talk some more about these free agents. But, Jim, thank you for all your hard work this year, and we appreciate you joining us now for 20-plus weeks straight.
Always enjoy it. Thanks, Philip.
Thank you. That was Jim Szoke. We're going to take a timeout and have more of the Patrick Johnson Show right after.
Your confidence makes everything look good. You see the world in vivid color, not black and white. Swing through your neighborhood Fantastic Sam's Cut in color and let our experienced stylists take you from everyday to extraordinary.
Fantastic Sam's hair salons are locally owned and operated. Our full-service salons are conveniently located in Goldsboro, Kinston, Greenville, New Bern, Jacksonville, and Calabash. Stop in today at Fantastic Sam's, where the possibilities are endless.
You know what the problem is with standard belts? Usually you have to choose between too tight or the opposite, too loose. But with Anson Belt & Buckle, you don't have to choose. We got rid of the holes and instead have a track system designed for micro-adjustability. That way you can enjoy a perfect fit every time. Anson Belt & Buckle. Find your perfect fit today.
Daughtridge Gas and Oil has been your dependable propane supplier for 95 years. Their trained technicians can service and properly install all your propane and natural gas appliances. Plus, Daughtridge Gas and Oil is your backyard expert with fire pits, grills, smokers, and more, including quality outdoor furniture at their Greenville Patio and Hearth Shop at 1901 Charles Boulevard. Go by and see the knowledgeable staff at Daughtridge Gas and Oil for propane delivery or call 756-1345.
Other restaurants claim their food is fresh and fast, but are they friendly? At Moore's, you're treated like family the minute you walk into their doors. With locations in Winterville, New Bern, Swansboro, Morehead City, and Jacksonville. We've been practicing what we preach since 1945. At Moore's, our barbecue is slow cooked and smoked over real wood daily until it's so tender it's falling off the bone. Combined with our fresh chicken, cooked-to-order seafood, and homemade fixins, we're sure you'll agree. If it's not Moore's, it's less.
Healthwise Pharmacy rounds the bases with all of your infusion, retail, compounding, and medical equipment needs. Locally owned and operated by pharmacist Marcy Parker, Healthwise has grown to be your most trusted provider for infusion services. Currently providing in-home or on-site infusions in North Carolina, South Carolina, and Virginia. Visit Healthwise Pharmacy at 615B South Memorial Drive or call 252-295-0059 to speak to a patient service representative to find...
Remember, get the podcast of the show on the IBX Media app or where you get your podcasts.
I listen on my Apple Watch.
Smart speaker.
Listen while you work.
I listen everywhere. The Patrick Johnson Show on 94.3 The Game.
Dom Szoke here, finishing up, wrapping the show for PJ and Phillip as they are getting ready for Inside Pirate Athletics. Make sure to stay tuned on 94.3 The Game for that edition of Inside Pirate Athletics with the P-Man just in about 7 minutes here. So he'll be there the next hour. That'll be on the radio and the IBX Media app, so make sure to stay tuned for that. Tomorrow's PJ edition will be just 30 minutes as PJ getting ready for ECU women's basketball. Women's basketball 3-1 in conference play, and Tulsa, the opponent, they are 3-0 in conference play, looking to stay undefeated, so that should be a close one. PJ excited to be on the call for that one. And then ECU men's basketball back at it on Wednesday at South Florida. ECU basketball just had a tough loss versus UAB. That game in overtime got, a little bit out-rebounded in overtime, and it was pretty close down the stretch. Rebounding-wise, the boys were doing a great job. Maybe ran out of gas there at the end. That was a tough UAB overtime, pesky type of team that Patrick was saying that same thing. They were pesky on the boards, and listening to Darren's call on it, they're a tough team to beat. So, next game, Wednesday, South Florida, a must-win for the Pirates. Can't start 0-5 in conference play. They're already 0-4. Darren Vaught will be on the call for that one, and I'll be there once again with Darren Vaught. I'll be doing the scoreboard updates from the studio. So hopefully the Pirates can get a win after the tough loss, because an 0-5 start in conference play would be brutal. So that's pretty much it for the show. We got Inside Pirate Athletics coming up. Anything else for the Pirates that I can think of is Jordan Riley is just a total superstar, and I'm hoping he finds a way to get some kind of playing overseas at some point, some kind of G League spot, roster spot at some point. RJ Felton got that. Jordan Riley is playing his lights out. He's playing lights out. He's just a spectacular player. Even the three-point shot is starting to fall a little bit, and that was a tough thing for him last season, his three-point shooting, and he's definitely improved. The volume is getting up there, and being one of the best three-point shooters on the team is not that big of a deal when you're not shooting that great as a team, but improvement on that aspect when it's probably his biggest flaw in his game, it's a big deal. So I really think he could play later on in overseas pro ball. So that's it for your Patrick Johnson Show. Let's tune in to Inside Pirate Athletics right after this on 94.3 The Game.
At Parker's Barbecue, our family has been serving your family for 3 generations.
For that, we say thank you.